I'm here today with my friend Orion. Orion is a purple belt, tall ass son of a gun, and a wonderful training partner in our gym. So I wanted to start by asking you how you started in jiu-jitsu, because we've never really talked about that.
Yeah, I actually started, I used to play poker professionally, and I had a few friends in that community that did it, and they kind of exposed me to it, and they said they liked it a lot, so I gave it a try. And somebody that used to play sports a lot, I just kind of fell in love with it right away.
Like the competition aspect?
No, just kind of like, I was kind of looking for something that was, kind of like a physical chest where I could still, work out and get a workout.
But get the mental.
But yeah, just like do something that wasn't such a workout grind kind of thing, because I had just been like lifting weights. For
Right.
years,
So how long have you been training?
For 4 years now.
Like, you're so good. And I watch you. One thing that I would think is a challenge for you is your height in training partners. How does that work out?
Well, for the most part, it's an advantage in jiu-jitsu, and it's good for me to find training partners that are close height, just to have some space to kind of do things. But at the same time, it works out well. I get smaller. So I mean, it's fine.
You always stay so calm when you roll.
Yeah.
Like, how do you balance that with the natural? Because you are a competitor. I mean, I've seen your competitive streak, but you're always just so calm and chill.
Sometimes I lose it and I forget to breathe and I do that. But yeah, I think I just kind of like getting started at 32 years old. You're well into being an adult. It was easy for me to see what the top people were doing and kind of model my game after that right away, rather than go through the growing pains of making mistakes when you're a kid. It's like you're approaching this with all this previous sports knowledge and watching how people get better.
So coming at it, like starting at 33, what is your take on injury different from like a young kid coming at it? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think my particular path was kind of unique because I was doing a lot of rehab, preventative exercises, and stretching, myofascial release, before I started jiu-jitsu. So as soon as I started jiu-jitsu, I realized how much I was going to need to keep doing that all the time. So I kind of, made a little habit of getting at least one, possibly two, kind of strength building or rehab sessions in intervals of training, just to keep my body from getting too injured. But I've had a lot, 4 or 5 injuries.
I've noticed with you too, you come early to stretch longer beforehand, which I've started emulating because I see the difference it makes for me physically starting to get on the mat versus some of the 20-year-olds who just let's go.
Yeah, I think if you come in and you just do jiu-jitsu cold constantly, you're just kind of breaking your body down. It's not sustainable. It's just too rough of a sport, and we're just, I think, whether it's environmentally or with the the diets that people have, we're just not built to sustain jiu-jitsu 4 times a week without any type of
recovery,
rehab or preventative care,
maintenance.
I see people that do that, and I see them fall off and not be able to train anymore. They just physically can't go after a while.
Right. And I think for me that's one thing that sometimes if I'm stretching, if I'm taking that time, but then someone's like, hey, let's do a quick roll. Well, okay. And I've noticed myself, I know I'm cold, and so I go in more hesitant and end up freezing up and maybe landing wrong. How do you keep that boundary with training partners and still keep the good relationship? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think you just kind of have to come in early and get a little stretch in first. but I don't know. I just if I come in late and I'm still gonna stretch, I know exactly what you're talking about. I usually just mandatorily get in 10 minutes, and then I'll just kind of jump in, and I just start slow, and I'll usually, a lot of times when I do start cold, I'll start in bottom side control.
Okay.
Just so that there's not really a whole lot of action. And you just kind of start from a pretty static position.
And then you get to get your muscles warm from working from there.
Yeah, unless you're just training with, a meathead, when someone starts from side control, they're not just immediately arm.
Choke! Unless it's a white belt. Oh, that's me. Yeah. So because you also bring your kids to the gym with you a lot, and they're not rolling with the adults necessarily, but your youngest, he's the cutest little thing. Like I adore him on the mat. What do you see that association with the gym, just being here, does for them?
I think it's probably going to be like a subconscious, like easy to maintain habit for them to just come to the gym just because they constantly come in with me. And yeah, at 5, it's like he's starting to do some kids classes here and there, but I don't really force him. I like bringing him to the gym for that first thing I mentioned, and also just because I've kind of set up an incentive system for them. So like if they want to do screen time, there's usually a combination of like math and reading and or workouts. And so we'll just
so
do
this
workouts.
is incorporated in
Yeah, and like my 5-year-old, like his squat and push-ups and stuff, like it's amazing. It's a lot better than most adults.
Well, and I've seen him in kids class when he rolls. I was like, holy crap!
Yeah.
And it's just
he's got good like intuition because he's watched a lot.
Yeah. I mean, my
cool
kids don't come as much with me. Just our scheduling and dynamics don't work out as well. But even that, when I see him roughhouse at home, from what little time they've been in the gym with me, I'm like, whoa!
Nice.
Now, how do you monitor that too? Because you have several boys.
Just 2.
Well, the 2, but roughhousing at home. What are the rules there?
I mean, they get chewed out a lot for taking it too far. It's usually like, the younger one antagonizes to the point where the older one eventually kind of gets angry and hurts him a little bit, but not really, and then he milks it up to his mom, and she's like...
Because I find the same thing with my kid's dad. He's like, they're getting rough with each other.
I mean, there's only so much you can do. We just kind of clearly communicate what the boundaries are, and we don't really take it too far. Like, they don't get like timeouts or spankings. We just don't do.
I think for me, teaching my kids about tapping and like really, really enforcing that for them.
They don't really do jiu-jitsu.
They don't.
They just kind of like smack each other and hit each other with pillows.
Roughhousing at home for
That's
my
what I mean.
kids.
Okay, for yours.
Like teaching them that both agree and both
just
have
like
the
grabbing
option.
each other by the necks and stuff.
Oh, they will.
Man.
Oh, they will.
Oh yeah, no, they have some.
Mine are
boundaries,
older. They get rough.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, as you progress in your training journey and your jiu-jitsu journey, do you think it'll be a forever thing? Do you think there's...
Yeah, I like jiu-jitsu a lot. I mean, I think at some point, if the opportunity presents itself, I'd probably do some form of teaching, possibly open to school, just because, when I think about what I want to do, spending my time to make a living, I'm not doing it now, but I think jiu-jitsu would be definitely like top 3, even if it wasn't. I just enjoy it, I like to enjoy teaching. I like seeing people progress. I like the progression for myself, and I don't know, there's something really addictive about jiu-jitsu. I've thought about that a lot, why I spend so much time, because I usually make it in like 3 or 4 times a week, and I take the time to like bring water and prep a bit before we start, and it's just.
But you also always have such a calm demeanor. Like you really do. You come in with just a very calm, very teaching demeanor, which I appreciate. But I've also appreciated watching you roll, and I watch you train, and I see a lot of times where you create opportunities or hold opportunities for a younger or smaller belt, or lower or smaller belt teammate, to let them recognize it, figure out if they're going to work it, and there's a lot of patience in the way that you train and teach. So I'm excited for that future for you. I think that'd be amazing. But you got to incorporate the yoga too.
Yeah, I'd probably have some type of like functional stretch going on. Hire someone to do that before.
Yeah. Because it makes a huge difference in how you practice and how you train.
Yeah.
What would your goals be for sharing it future with your kids, with everybody else, like bringing people in? What would you say your school, your gym, first time student?
What would I say to them? I don't know. Honestly, I haven't thought about that much. But I guess if on the spot, I would just tell them that, for a lot of people, jiu-jitsu is pretty transformative. physically and mentally. If they're really overweight, I would tell them that I've seen multiple people lose 80 plus pounds, within a few months of starting jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
If they were, lacking confidence or getting bullied, I would, just kind of like show them how this works and how you're kind of learning to just manipulate the body so that you can control people and you can defend yourself and you can have fun,
Yeah.
in competition doing that, because it's.
I think with that though, so many people mistake training for aggression and like learning how to become more aggressive or more violent. And my experience is the opposite is true.
I think, yeah, I mean, there's some degree of that, but yeah, I think naturally as you get more capable and you spend a lot of time like grappling with other adults, you kind of lose, maybe like if you had a lack of confidence or you had some insecurity issues that made you outwardly aggressive, you generally tend to lose those because you realize that like
They
you're
get
fine.
humbled.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about it. There's a physical and a mental probably culmination change
Yeah.
that happens.
So 4 years, you started as a professional poker player. Mentally, I mean, because playing poker is a huge game of strategy as well as luck. How has jiu-jitsu impacted the mental processes for you?
And when it comes to playing poker?
Well, playing poker, but life too.
Yeah. I don't know that it has for me specifically. Like I read a lot about people talking about how jiu-jitsu has really helped them mentally, and I think for me it's always been like I've just needed some sort of physical release. Jiu-jitsu I really enjoy, but ultimately I'm going to do it one way or another.
Right. But you're also a very smart and thoughtful guy, so you came in with that approach.
Yeah, I did come in with that approach, kind of a habit already made. So
Right.
jiu-jitsu just kind of replaced a habit
Right.
that I already had
And
created.
stepped into and became a mechanism to continue to progress on what you were already doing.
Yeah, and just really enjoyable.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, we'll catch you guys next time.